everybody. Welcome once again to the Stevie B Show. As always, I'm Stevie B. I am very excited to present my guest today. She is an actress, as I'm an actor, and we met a couple of years ago. Please welcome Eli Escobar. Eli.
Hello.
It is so good to see you. It is so good to see
well.
you. Thank you. It's so good. I mean, now I got to tell a little bit about our story. We met about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. We were at the Boston casting office in, I think, in Alston.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we took an improv class with a mutual friend of ours, Erica Derrickson.
Yes.
And we met. You were very nice. And you
Actually, it was 4 years ago.
was it that long ago?
Something like that. Yeah, it was really about 4 years ago.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
But you were so nice and you were incredibly kind, And we actually talked for a little bit. We had a Zoom call. You gave me some tips about about acting and everything like that. But Ellie, we want to talk about you. What can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where you were from and what?
Sure. Well, I'm originally from El Salvador.
El Salvador.
In Central America, and I came here back in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
I was very young, and I came due to the war in my country. There was a civil war, and young girls like myself were being kidnapped and by the soldiers, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So young girls like myself were being kidnapped, taken away from their parents, raped, and put in a ditch, and
Oh my
your
God.
parents could never find you again. So my parents feared that it would happen to me, and things started to escalate more. So they decided one day that they were going to pack me up and send me to Boston.
Oh.
So I came here because I have an uncle that came here back in the 70s, and so he's been residing here ever since. And I consider myself lucky, blessed, because to tell you the truth, I never know what happened to my friends, because I just finished 8th grade.
Oh.
And in my country, the school ends in October, and we go on to vacation. Whereas here, it starts in September.
Yeah.
So my school year was ending, and so I never got to say goodbye to my classmates, my friends that I've grew up with since I was in 1st grade.
Have you ever been able to contact any of them?
I have not been able to find. I've looked for them. I have not been able to find any of them.
It must have been really scary growing up in that country. Is it true?
It was. Let me tell you something about being a 12-year-old, waking up every morning, seeing dead bodies on the street.
Oh my God.
A 12-year-old shouldn't have to go through that.
No. You think about what's happening in Ukraine right now. It's really.
Absolutely. I completely understand and I relate to those children, because when I was a child, that's what happened. And, to date, I can still, whenever I hear a helicopter, like the Army helicopter, you can tell the difference between the Army helicopter and a regular helicopter.
Oh.
Their sound is deeper.
Is the Army helicopter like more louder? Is that what it is?
Louder, deeper. The sound is just really strong. And sometimes it gets me back to that time, because whenever you saw a helicopter flying by, it could mean missiles thrown at your house or.
Oh my goodness.
So it was. I always say, when I was a little girl, there was war, and I guess you grow. It makes you grow faster when that happens.
Yeah, but a 12-year-old shouldn't be subjected to this. It's evil, really.
It's very evil,
Yeah.
and
Can I ask since I'm not familiar that much with El Salvador, what was the war about? Was it territory? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So this war has started since, I want to say, 1932, maybe.
That long?
Oh no, actually, it's 1832.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in my country. It was well known that 14 families practically owned the country way back in the 1800s, and peasants were being mistreated. so basically the war, just to make it a long story short, basically the war, the civil war began because people basically were tired of a government that was dictated, and they wanted better wages and health insurance, and students wanted better education, and it was all about these students and nurses and doctors and teachers got together, and they became what they call revolutionaries. It's kind of like in the United States, right? Back in the Civil War, they were like, you want to be free from England, right?
Well, that was the Revolutionary War.
The Revolutionary War. When El Salvador, in between 79, well, 70s and 80s, it was our Revolutionary War.
Now, was El Salvador? I remember one story. Was there a cardinal, Archbishop Romero?
Yes.
He? Well, he actually was assassinated, and he's now a saint in the Catholic Church.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He
yeah.
was canonized. Yes, he was one of our. We all tuned to hear his Sunday mass, and there was one particular mass that probably got him killed. And during that sermon, the homily, he basically told the government, stop the persecution, stop the killings, stop the oppression. And on Monday of that week, starting Monday, the death squad came and basically shot him cold blood.
I heard during a mass. Is that true?
He was in his particular private, what do they call it, a smaller church, like the chapel.
Chapel.
Yeah, and he was giving a small mass that Monday, and they came in and they killed him.
Yeah, I remember seeing the movie with Raul Julia. That was a good movie, and but I mean, I can't imagine what you went through. I mean, is it true? Now, if you don't want me to ask this, you almost were kidnapped at one time?
Yeah, so coming back, so I had to go through the ordeal in El Salvador. But then I came to the United States by myself on a plane. My parents put me on a plane. I had never been out of the United States.
That must have been scary because
it was
you
scary.
were all by yourself. You didn't speak English.
I didn't speak English. I got to Miami, which is a huge airport. I didn't speak the language. I didn't know why some tall, dark man came by and took my luggage and walked away with my luggage, but he was the person that was helping me bring the luggages to the counter. But I didn't know that. I mean, I'm only at that time 14, so and in a strange country. So I ended up. It was really, the trip was scary. I left my mom, my dad, and my little brother. What, for me, the hardest part living here, because I came by myself first to live with my uncle, the hardest part was every night I couldn't sleep because I thought about them. Are they okay? Are they going to be killed? Am I going to see them again? I mean, these are the things that a 14-year-old had to think about.
That's so much on a 14-year-old. I mean,
it was so much. I had to come here, and right away I went to school, the high school. Which was a big shock for me because the high school here, public school. So I went to private school in my country, so we wear uniforms. But even public schools in my country, they wear uniforms. But here, they don't wear uniforms. So one of the things was like, wow, I don't get to wear a uniform. That's great. So it was very hard. I almost gave up. I wanted to leave, to go back to my country my first year here, and I have
who taught you English? I mean, what you learn?
At the high school, there was one particular teacher which became my son's godmother.
Oh.
She is the one she's the reason I stayed.
Oh.
She says, don't give up. I'm here for you. I know you don't understand the language. And because of her, I ended up having the courage to stay by myself without my parents. And so by the time I turned 16, one summer, I'm walking back from my boyfriend's house, and I almost got kidnapped by a man.
Oh my goodness!
I know this is cliche, but he was driving a white van. I don't know if that's what happens. All kidnappers drive a white van, but what saved me then
Yeah.
was a payphone that was standing outside this liquor store. And I was smart enough to think quickly.
Now, this was in Boston?
This
Or?
was in my hometown, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it was, yeah, it was here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
here in Boston. And so it was about maybe midnight, and so it was very a quiet street. And he'd been asking me, "Do you want to ride? Do you want to ride?" And I'm like, "No, no, I'm okay." And I stopped at the phone. He came out of the van. He grabs my arm, so my right arm is holding the phone because I'm like, "Who do I call?" Right? I don't even have any money to make a call. Then I thought, "Oh my God, I can dial the operator and call collect." So I called collect to my boyfriend, who later became my husband and my son's dad. And he had me grabbed from the other arm, pulling me, like
Yeah.
janking me off the phone. And I'm just like, I need to call collect. And I dialed this number. It was very scary. But luckily, my boyfriend was able to calm down. He's 6 feet 4 inches tall, and
Yeah.
out of nowhere he showed up within seconds, and hit the van with a some kind of wooden stick. The man let go of my arm, went into his van, and left.
Oh, my. That,
I am petrified of white vans, Steve.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
If I see a white van sitting next to my car,
Yeah.
I will not get out of my car.
Yeah, I mean, luckily your boyfriend pretty much saved your life.
He
at
really
the time.
did. He was 16 too.
Did they ever catch the jerk who tried to
No,
kill?
I can never forget his face. That's one thing. I never forgot his face. And I went to the police. Unfortunately, they couldn't do anything because when we were 16 years old, we didn't think about take the plate number.
Yeah.
We were just in the moment there trying to save me. So, and he took off so quickly, and it was sort of dark, and I kind of gave the police a description of what the man looked like, but yeah.
I'm so relieved that you survived.
I couldn't be here telling you this story.
I know,
I
I
would have been
know.
another statistic, a missing
I know.
woman,
I was
a
like,
missing girl.
Yeah, I mean, you're from El Salvador. You have to worry about being kidnapped and being shot, and you come to Boston and someone tries to kidnap you. I'm like,
What are the odds?
what are the
right?
odds? I mean, I'm just so grateful that
Thank you.
piece of garbage didn't get to you or anything,
No,
right? So
and I never told my parents.
you never told your parents?
No.
Oh.
They would have. I don't like worrying my parents, especially because they've just come from El Salvador. And,
Yeah.
oof, no.
Well, my parents are Italian, so they worry about me. I mean, if I'm out for a certain period of time and I don't call, they're like, "Where are you? Where have you been?" I mean, one time I come if I'm like an hour late for something, they panic. So
Yeah, well, my Latino parents are like this as well. They're like, you could be 70 years old, and your mom could be like 100 years old, and she'll be like, "Did you get home yet?"
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what we're in common,
Yes.
But yeah, but here's my question. We're gonna get off the bad thing. So, what draw you to being an actress? Did you always want to be when you were growing up, or
So growing up, Steve, I used to role play a lot. I was an only child for 10 years. So my mom tells me that I used to just role play a lot, and I had imaginary friends and whatnot. And I did. I really loved telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
But how I came across acting was because I thought subconsciously I thought my son wanted to be an actor. And so I even spent 3 months in California in 2016,
Oh.
trying to kind of test the waters and see what acting is like over there for my son, not for me. I never even wasn't there even thinking about becoming an actress, Steve. So 2016, we're in California, living with my cousin. She lives in Burbank.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just having a 3 month kind of vacation, but really trying to see what acting is like for my son over there. He did a couple of background work over there, and it's very competitive, LA.
I know.
Very competitive. But then, and then I actually ended up going to the Kodak Theater where the Oscars are
Oh, yeah.
are given to the actors. I've never been to the theater, and I went because a friend of mine had tickets for the American Idol finale.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when J Lo used to be one of the judges.
Yeah.
So I got to see J Lo in action, and
Did you meet her?
no, I did not. I would have loved to, but so I am walking into the theater. There's about 500 people behind me because we're all trying to get in, and the way we got tickets is because my friend's son has connections, so we got really great tickets, right?
Oh, okay.
And like VIP and
Yeah.
everything. So we were early into the theater. And I'm walking into the theater, and I don't know why, Steve, I ended up touching the wall of the Kodak Theater. And I touched the wall, and I closed my eyes, and I said, one day I'm coming back, and I'm gonna get the Oscar.
Oh, wow.
My friend looks at me. She goes, "You are nuts. You're not even an actress." I'm like, "I know. I don't. Why did you say that?" I'm like, "I don't know." So that was that. We come back in April of 2016. We come back April 6th. I'm due to start my new job at Taft's Health Plan, paying me really great money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm due to start my work at 8:30, April 12th. That was yesterday, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to me is I'm on my way to work, 8 a.m., and a woman hits my car in the back.
Mm-hmm.
She was drinking hot coffee. Don't ever drink hot coffee and drive. Please.
Oh, I never did that. I learned that the hard way. I
So-
did once. It goes over you and you...
Don't
Don't do it.
Don't do
drink.
anything when you
Don't-
drive.
don't
Just
do anything.
drive. Just
don't,
drive.
Don't
Just
drive. Don't go on your phone. Don't
Yeah,
do anything.
nothing.
That's
Just focus on your driving. Okay.
Okay, so-
this woman spills her coffee. It's hot. She presses what she thinks are the brakes, and it's the accelerator.
Yeah.
So she runs into my car, which pushes me into the car in front of me, and
Yeah.
now I'm sandwiched. I lose consciousness.
Oh.
I didn't even know I had an accident until I see the paramedics next to me saying, "Do you know you were in a car accident?" I'm like, "No." And then we're going to take you to the hospital. The airbag came out. I ended up with a concussion that I couldn't work, and I couldn't go to work for 6 months. To date, I still feel certain things in my head
Yeah.
from the concussion.
I had a concussion.
It's-
I fell off my bike, and back then I didn't wear helmets. I mean, a kid of the '80s, we didn't wear helmets.
No.
You know, and I'm looking back, I really knocked. I mean, I was in the hospital for a week when I had my concussion, but you know,
It's dangerous.
it's dangerous. You know, but I wear a helmet now, whatever. You know, always have my seatbelt, everything.
That's
so.
That's a smart
Yeah.
thing to do, Stevie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I ended up with a concussion. I lost the job. I lost the car. I lived off my savings.
Wait a minute. They let you go because you got into an accident?
No, I had to quit. I told them that I was not going to go to work for them because, first of all, they had already waited for me for weeks to come back from LA.
No.
And I just didn't feel right to make them wait anymore. So I said, "I'm sorry. I'm going to be out for 6 months, and it's not fair to your company to keep that position open. So give the opportunity to someone else." So that was okay. So I was okay. And so I was home. And it was during that period that, you know, most people feel like, "Oh my God, why did this happen to me?" I looked at it like, okay, God, universe, what do you have for me? You have a surprise. You did this for a reason. I know. So I am, I take the negative and I turn it into a positive, right? Because I want to know what's going on. Like, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm in pain, but it's okay. This happened for a reason, and I'm going to find out what it was. Well, in July of 2016 is when I met Erica. I think I took a class.
Yeah, Erica.
Erica.
That's where we met.
Yeah, no, we met after that though.
Oh.
So in 2016, actually, I think it was June. Do you know Imagine magazine in Boston?
Yes.
Okay, they had an event. I can't think if it was. I wonder if it was May, June, or I think it was either May or June. They had their. I think it was the 18th anniversary of the magazine.
Yeah.
They were celebrating it. I'm on Facebook and this ad comes up and I'm like, oh, we're gonna have actors and directors, and I tell my kid, hey, let's go check out the waters in Boston, see what the acting scene is like around here for you. He turns around and says, Mom, I don't want to be an actor. I think you want to be an actor, and I don't know why you don't follow your dreams. And I'm a man now. I can take care of myself. Go live your dream. Go live your life. You go to that event. I said, by myself? He goes, Mom, you're an outgoing person. You'll meet people. Just go. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And I got dressed with my little black dress, and I took off, and I met, I think her name is Jennifer. I forget her name. We were both coming out of the cars in the parking garage, and I said, oh, I love your dress. She's like, I love your dress. I go, I wonder if you're going to the same event that I'm going. And she's, where are you going? So I tell her, that's where I'm going. And so I made my first actor friend right in the garage.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't worry, stick with me. I will introduce you to everyone. And I went and I met so many people, many beautiful people, and I met the director or the man who actually runs the Boston International Film Festival,
Yeah.
Patrick. And from there, a year later, he asked me if I would be willing to work with him in the committee that reviews the films that come in for the festival. And I got to do that, experience that. So yeah, and then after that event, I see another ad, and it's Erica's ad saying, I'm teaching this class called How to Be a Successful Actor in New England. It was a 4-week class,
Yeah.
and I took it.
Oh.
I signed up for it.
Yeah.
And so basically, my acting career sort of landed on my lap.
Oh.
I wasn't like one of those people like, I want to be an actor. I'm dreaming about being an actor. I wasn't dreaming about being an actor. I wasn't even thinking about being an actress. It sort of kind of fell on my lap.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what do I do with this? I'll just go with it. I'll go see what happens. Little did I know that me having all these sort of events happening, starting in LA of 2016,
Yeah.
and in April of 2016 with a car accident, will really mark the beginning of my acting career. And it was something that I was never expecting. I was never thinking about. I was never dreaming about. I wasn't dreaming about being an actress. I loved the movies.
Yeah. Do you think it was divine fate?
I truly believe that I've been I've been on this road that wasn't mine. Like, I feel like each of us have our own road to follow. But sometimes we kind of, it's kind of blurry, right? Like, there's walls. We don't see it. We're not awake to that. And so I really feel that God or the universe or the divine people up there kind of kicked me on my butt that day that I had the car accident. Because I was going to go to be stuck on another 9-to-5 job. And I was trying to get away from that. But, I'm like, oh, the money's good. I'm just going to go. I'm going to get benefits. What else do I have to do, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to be that regular person that works and dies with her talents.
Yeah. What projects have you worked on, if you know?
Oh, my goodness. So I started my career in 2016. Basically, my first audition was in October 12th, 2016. and I didn't know about any acting, about anything. I didn't know anything about acting. I knew I'd taken Erica's class, but Erica's class was just about the business part of acting. It wasn't about how to bring a story to life. I didn't know how to audition. So I went to this audition on my birthday, October 12th.
Oh.
My
Your birthday is 1 month from mine.
Really?
September 12th. Your October 12th.
My son's birthday is September 13th.
Wow. We have so much in common.
I know. So you're a Virgo.
I wish him a happy birthday on the 13th this
Are you
year.
a Virgo?
Yes, I am.
So is he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so-
He's my best friend, actually.
know.
So
Yeah. How old is your son now?
he's 27.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's an actor now too.
Wait, what does he do? What?
He does acting. He does a lot of commercials. That's how he got his SAG eligibility through a principal commercial that he did. And a lot of us have to go to and do background work to get that voucher.
I've done a lot of background work. Believe me.
We actually got blessed. We got a eligibility to become SAG doing one commercial together.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm SAG eligible. I'm just taking my time. I'm not becoming SAG just yet.
No.
Because here in New England, it's better not to be union because you have
That's what
more
I've been told.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Well, you have more opportunities if you're not union.
Yeah.
So in New England.
In New England.
If you go to LA, that's a different story. But and so I so I went to my first audition October 12th, 2016, and the director gave me the role right there, and that's where I started my first film. And I've done about 25 different independent films.
Believe it or not, we actually worked on the same project. We did Defending Jacob. Weren't you on?
Yes, I was in Defending Jacob.
That's when we were talking
I was,
about Zoom. You were like a secretary, or
I was the reporter.
I was a mourner. I was. It was funny because the scene that I was in, right? The family they portrayed is Jewish, so they had like what's called a shiva, which is what the Jewish tradition is when someone dies, and I had to, I had to recite a prayer, but I didn't know how the prayer was. But the funny thing was, I have to tell this story, and I'll get you right back to you.
No, go ahead.
No, they actually had an actual rabbi come in to do the scene, and this rabbi was an accomplished actor. He was in Miami Vice. He's been in Spencer for Hire. He's from here, but he's an actual rabbi, and. We said a prayer, right? And the thing is, I knew what this prayer was, even though I'm not Jewish. I remember watching an episode of the animated series Superman, and there was a character in the movie, in the show, that passed away who was Jewish. And during the funeral, now this character was a tribute to Jack Kirby, who, if you may know, was a fine Marvel comic artist. He created the Hulk, Fantastic Four, and so they did like a little homage to him. So when this character in this show died, they did a prayer, right? And I knew the prayer because I had heard it so many times. It was like Iskada Shemel Avo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I mean, and I just knew it, and so we spent like 5, 6, 7 takes just reciting this Shiva prayer. So I ended up being one of the mourners, and I had a yarmulke, and they had a hard time keeping it on because, as you see, I have no hair, so there was nothing to clip the yarmulke on. But I mean, it was fun to do. I did see Chris Evans and everything, so it was a fun thing to do. But you and I, we both did that.
Yeah, we did that. I was there for I think 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Long hours.
Yeah.
And I got to say hello to Chris Evans. He's very nice.
And
And
he's from Sudbury, Massachusetts.
oh, is he?
Yes, he's
Oh,
a
I
local
didn't know
kid.
that.
Captain America.
Captain America. He's one of my favorite
Yeah,
actors,
he's,
to be honest. But yeah, so I've done. I've gone through New York. I actually went to Sacramento, and I've gone to San Diego to film films too. So I consider myself
San Diego, really? Wow.
yeah, I was cast into a film. It's still in the process of being filmed because then pandemic happened.
Yeah, I know that really, the
yeah.
pandemic really put a kink in all everybody's plans and everything like
It did.
that.
But if you're an actor, you don't stop.
I know.
You don't stop. And one thing that I always do is I keep. You have to keep in the now when you're an actor, relevant, and by how you stay relevant in this industry is you keep taking acting courses. You keep keep researching what's trendy out there, and just keep learning. Because I believe we actors, we never stop learning.
Yeah. Again, we're going to show one of your demo reel. We're going to show some of the projects you've done,
Yes.
and we're going to have a quick look at here's Eli Escobar and all the projects she's been. Let's take a look.
After the blood draw, they take me to a room for the stage they call counseling. I read about how clinics in other states are required to sit women down and tell them to think a little harder about what it is they're doing. I don't expect this as I sit down across from her, but I do expect a moment of empathy. Some kind of soft reckoning between two strangers about the great fortitude and natural suffering of women.
Why? Why, Selena? Why Child Protective Services at my house?
Mom, you have to believe me. It wasn't me, okay? I'm so sorry. It wasn't me. I love you.
Am I that bad of a mother to you?
No, Ma, no.
Then why did you do this?
Mom, I didn't. My friend saw Bruce and freaked out.
Por Dios, what, Bruce? ¿Qué moretones? You kidding me? What are you saying about me,
Mom,
Selena?
nothing. It's just... We fight every day.
Selena, you're a teenager. Of course we fight every day. But if you tell them that now, they can make you leave here.
What about the wine? Have you been drinking again?
It was just one glass.
It's never one glass. I don't know what to do.
Just tell them. Tell them everything. It's okay.
But everything is not okay, Mom.
Tus preocupaciones son cada vez más pequeñas. Algo se acerca. Algo bueno.
Y tú lo tienes también. Somos iguales, hija. Dos bebés, un parto sin niños. You see this? This is nautical archaeology. Nautical archaeology. People take this class because they have certain expectations, and until you get this, the C's over here into the A's, they are going to send you emails and ask questions in section, and they'll even come to your office hours.
Oh, you've done quite a bit. I know. I mean, you've done a lot. So what's next for you? What are you going to be doing now?
So I just finished a project about a month ago, a production that cast me from LA. They came to Boston to film, and I just finished that production. And in fact, this past weekend, I was asked by a writer-director. I can't say the
I know
anything about
you're
it.
sworn to secrecy.
Yeah.
I know that
So,
you can't say certain things because
no, it's the industry. So this
no, it's like when actors were in the Star Wars movies, they cannot say anything at all whatsoever about anything.
You legit will get fired.
You will get fired. Yeah.
So you
and like that's my goal in life. I want to be in a Star Wars movie. I don't care if it's background or bit part or whatever. I want to be in a Star Wars movie.
maybe they'll come here
Maybe
and do something, right?
there was a I think it was an April Fool's joke. They said that they were going to film The Force Awakens in Boston. I'm like, well, and then I realized, oh, today's April Fool's. Oh, geez. I'm like, darn.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
I should have caught on to it. I said, today's April 1st. What am I doing?
Well, you never know.
I'm so excited. I'm like, guys, they're going to shoot Star Wars here. And I'm like, Steve, today's April Fool's Day. I'm like,
oh, Stevie.
yeah, I know. I didn't know. I didn't realize the date.
Even I don't get full in April Fools. I mean, I used to when I was younger, but not anymore. I'm like, no, it's April
But
Fools.
I wasn't paying attention to what day it was. That's the thing. So I mean, okay, anybody has never been fooled.
You're an easy prey. Good to
So
know.
I'm an easy prey. Okay,
Good
then.
to know,
Oh,
Steve.
that won't happen again. I mean, no. So you can't do. But it amazes me that as a little girl growing up in such a troubling situation, that you came to this country by yourself. You didn't know English, and you've accomplished so much in your life. I mean,
I continue to accomplish. I think that a lot of people feel that they're too old to do something, or they are not good enough for something, but you don't know what you're capable until you actually put yourself in that situation.
What is the advice you have? When you talked to me, when we had that Zoom call, you gave me a lot of advice, because at the time I was feeling so down and so upset with myself, But what do you say to people who feel like they've done acting and they feel like they're going nowhere? How do you keep them focused not to give up? What would you say?
Yeah. Well, this industry, it's hard because it can be very discouraging, especially when you go to so many auditions and you get no after no. You start to feel like maybe there's something wrong with you. But truly, it's not. I think understanding the nature of the industry is very important, and if you understand it first thing when you get into this industry, I understand that. First of all, you can't get into this industry looking for fame and glory and money. It's not gonna happen. We are actors. I mean, I work in an industry that today I have a job in the film, tomorrow I don't, in another month I don't. So you gotta have a survival job, which I do. So
Yeah, me too.
But what I say to people, I often tell friends who are feeling depressed because nothing is happening for them, or maybe they have tried to get an agent and they can't get an agent, and they feel like, well, so and so got an agent, why can't I get an agent? One, you cannot compare yourself to anyone else, because this is your path, this is your thing. And you gotta look at it like, this is my thing. And so you start to develop yourself first, right? Develop yourself, and then once you develop yourself, you can start developing your career. I think a lot of people want to jump into the career first without even developing their self first. And what I mean by that is how I develop myself as an actress to keep going, to be successful. It's I sit down at my desk every day. Every day I give myself time to give to my acting, whether it's reading a book, whether it's reading a book on acting techniques, or a book on how to grow as a person, because as an actor, it goes hand in hand, right? So sit down, do your research, read books, take a class. You have to train, take an acting class.
Yeah.
It's going to keep you going. So when there's an audition, you are ready and prepared, and you're not feeling, unconfident, I guess. Like, a lot of this is you have to have confidence.
Yeah.
And how you gain confidence is by taking classes to improve yourself in this acting career. And I always tell people, don't be so hard on yourself. This industry is hard. You know that you're gonna get a million no's before you get a yes. But if you keep this mind that, what I see is my vision is I see myself doing what I love. That's my vision. I don't see anything else. I don't see I didn't get that part. I didn't get that manager. Or I don't see it that way. I see it as, oh my goodness, one day I'm gonna work with DiCaprio.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, I'm gonna do it. So what do I do to do that, Steve?
Work hard.
I study, I prepare, I take acting courses, I connect with other people, even though I'm here in Boston.
Yeah.
I have a presence in social media, even though social media can be negative. I use my social media to market myself. And a lot of actors forget how to market themselves. I don't have a marketing company that to pay enough, to pay them to do
Yeah.
my work. So I learn how to market myself. And so I know I have director friends all over the United States and outside the United States. They know me. They know, listen, I am an actress. And you ever need an actress in your film, this is who I am. And here's my resume. Don't be shy about it. People say, oh, you shouldn't do that. No, do that. Take the risk. What are you going to lose?
Yeah.
It's about taking risks. It's about knowing what's important to you and not listening to the rest of the world, because when you start to listen to other people and they start to tell you like, oh, you're too old for this, or you're not good enough, or, you don't have the talent, that's when it hits you and you start to think, maybe you're not cut out for this. But if it's in your heart, and it's in your heart, you're never going to give up.
Ellie, we've I got to say one thing. When I first met you, right, I called you Eli because I was thinking
You and the whole world does that.
no, because I kept thinking of Eli Manning, who was a quarterback for the New York Giants, and that's why I get it. And then you finally said to me, "It's Ellie," and I'm like, I'm sorry about that, but
That's okay.
But I won't call you that anymore. But Ellie, I've known you only a few times, but from your story and everything, I can just say from what you've been through and what you are today, I am really proud of you.
Oh,
And I wish you
you
nothing but
so
success.
much.
And if you become famous, don't forget me, okay?
I would never ever forget
Oh.
the people. I believe in that. If you make it big, if you climb one step on that ladder, you hold on to someone else to help them climb that same step.
Yeah, and thank you so much. You are such a good and sweet person. Thank you so much for being.
Oh my goodness, it's such a pleasure to
Oh, good. You're gonna
finally be
make
here.
me cry.
Oh no.
You're gonna make me cry.
No crying.
No.
Save those for acting.
I know exactly.
But this is good because if you're ever in a need to do an emotional scene,
Yeah.
you can think of this stuff.
Ellie, thank you so much for being on the show. And that's all the time we have for the Stevie B show. As always, I'm Stevie B. I want to thank my guest, Eli Escobar.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you next time. So have a good day, everybody. So long.
Bye.